Bizarre new motion tonight filed on behalf of the man convicted of trying to assassinate President Trump in September 2024 in West Palm Beach.
Ryan Ruth is now asking the judge to send him to a state where assisted suicide is legal or to trade him to Iran in a prisoner exchange. Investigative reporter Terry Parker joining us now in the newsroom. And Terry, you've also received this message in a letter Ruth sent to you directly from the Federal Detention Center in Miami.
That's exactly right. Ryan Ruth sent me this packet with his writings in it about 2 weeks ago. And in that, he mentioned that he was going to ask the judge to sentence him to a state where assisted suicide is legal. Today, in a new filing, he's done exactly that. Ryan Ruth has been in a Florida jail since his arrest on I-95 in September 2024. He represented himself in court and was convicted of the attempted assassination of President Trump last month. Since then, Ruth's filed several motions from jail. This latest one filed Wednesday. In the motion, Ruth writes to request kindly to be placed in a state that has assisted suicide, since I am a constant failure. 10 states plus the District of Columbia allow assisted suicide, but only for the terminally ill and under very strict requirements. Ruth writes if he can't end his life, he would like to be traded to another country, such as Iran or China, in exchange for political prisoners or journalists. He also criticizes President Trump, just as he did in his closing statement, which jurors did not get to hear in its entirety. Judge Eileen Cannon cutting him off after a few minutes after warning him his rambling words had no relevance to his case. Cannon will sentence Ruth December 18th, and he faces life in prison. However, it's not up to Cannon to decide what prison he'll be sent to. That's up to the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Meantime, I'm learning more about what Ruth was writing from his cell, not just to the court, but to his own children. I've obtained 5 letters Ruth sent his son and daughter, and they asked me to open. They contain his entire opening and closing statements and why he thinks he should not have been convicted, reasons that no one has heard before. And those letters are part of my exclusive investigation airing next Thursday. In it, you'll hear exactly what Ruth wrote to his children and also his writings about his possible motive in trying to assassinate President Trump. That's coming up next week. Terry Parker, WPBF 25 News.